Okay,
Welcome back, folks.
Stefan and I were enjoying Chris Allen there, and I'm sure you would have too. He was in town recently as well. Missed
and
it.
guess who was queuing up?
I missed it. I missed it. I was just there. And anyway, we hope he'll come back into town. But yes, very talented man. Now, right before we get into talking about hearing impairment with our guest in the studios, let's hit the polling question.
Okay, it sounds something like this. What do you think are the causes to hearing impairment? A. Overexposure to loud noise. B. Is it genetic? Or C. Is it a disease or illness? And type HO2 followed by space A or B or C and send in to 32776.
Of course, I think our guest in the studios would have more to say about the polling question.
Exactly.
So let's welcome, we have with us Mr. Kieran McCary, who's the owner and managing director of Clarisound. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Thanks for joining us at this early in the morning. I'm sure it's not your regular hour.
No, it's not. It's a pleasure.
Okay.
All right, so first of all, of course, give us the numbers, statistics. How many, what's the percentage like of those with hearing impairment?
Okay, in Malaysia, actually we talk about globally first of all, and then we talk about Malaysia. The World Health Organization estimates that around about 10% of the world's population as a whole suffers from some form of significant hearing impairment. In Malaysia, there was a study done by the Institute of Public Health in 2006, which put the number of hearing impaired at 21% of the population. So that's almost 1 in 5 people
1 in 5
in Malaysia have a hearing loss.
And this is an age range between...
It's all age ranges, from young to old.
Okay.
But of course, you find that older people, the prevalence of hearing loss tends to be a little higher.
Of course. I hope it doesn't affect you and I, okay? As, you know... All right, now, Kieran, tell us more about this aid that's sitting in front of us. All these things that are sitting, these gadgets that are sitting in front of us. Can you just explain a little bit more? And I think if the
James
camera can
Bond,
zoom in,
$6 million man's equipment.
$6 million man, yeah.
I think, I mean, this is really just to show people the evolution of hearing aids. They started off many years ago as big, bulky boxes, which you see on the left.
This is the one, right?
Yeah, this is kind of worn on the pocket, in a shirt pocket, etc., with a wire leading up to the ear,
Right.
Which of course just picks up all the noise and is really just an amplifier.
Okay.
And then they evolved into this kind of behind the ear instrument here.
Oh, the ones at the back there.
Yeah.
All right.
And then subsequently custom-built hearing aids, which can be made very small and invisible, up to the very latest. If you can just...
Which is what? This one?
Inside the blue box.
The blue box, yeah. That blue box. Okay, here we go.
This is the latest.
These are the very latest in terms of technology. They're very small, very cosmetically acceptable. When they fit behind the ear, they really...
Oh, you can't see it.
It really kind of disappears. It just looks like one of my grey hairs.
Oh, wow.
So it's really quite... Yeah. And the most interesting thing about these is they're intelligent. They think for themselves. They can change depending on the environment that people are in. And also they can be used with Bluetooth receivers. This is a Bluetooth receiver, the black box. Yeah, so this is worn around the neck. And this can then be paired with mobile phones, computers. It can even be used to...
So it's compatible?
Yeah.
Oh.
So when somebody's phone rings, the hearing aids will beep to tell them the phone's ringing. Then they just touch this and talk. Then they get the sound into their hearing aids.
Right.
And of course, this then has microphones, so they can just speak as though it were a hands-free device.
I see.
This can also be used with a television. So you use a separate Bluetooth transmitter connected to the TV, and then people can hear the television clearly.
Interesting.
It's quite a problem because people don't understand, for the most part, what can be done, how to get help, and it's a very debilitating condition because it affects people's ability.
Speaking of debilitating condition, if you noticed the polling question earlier, we were asking, you know, what are the causes, whether it's genetics, it's overexposure to sound, or even disease or illness. Maybe you can enlighten the viewers in terms of what are the causes of hearing loss.
Usual causes.
Yeah.
The most common cause is actually aging. It's a condition called presbyacusis, which is just hearing loss through age. And that starts around the late 40s, mid 50s. By the time people reach the age of 60, it affects 1 in 3.
Right.
And then, of course, as they continue to age, then the percentage affected becomes more and more. The second largest cause is, of course, exposure to loud noise, especially in industrialized areas. So if somebody's exposed to noise in a factory or music, you work in a discotheque all the time, then you're going to have a problem. And increasingly so, of course, youngsters today are using MP3 players and playing the sound very loud. I'm always having to tell my children, turn it down, because I can hear it from 20 feet away. So that's becoming an increased problem. But of course, all of the causes that you listed there actually are all causes of hearing loss. Disease or illness can cause it. It can be genetic. And of course, overexposure to loud noise. So they're all causes.
So these gadgets, they can address each and every one of those causes? Or is there a type of hearing loss that cannot be addressed by these gadgets?
I think there are two main types of hearing loss. One is a conductive hearing loss, one is a sensory neural hearing loss. One affects the mechanics of the ear, the other is the nerves in the ear. There are some types of hearing loss that can be treated by surgery or by medicine, so if it's caused by disease or infection or something, then it can be dealt with by a surgeon or a physician. For sensory neural hearing loss, more often than not, the only thing people can do is use a hearing aid. And if there is some residual hearing left, then a hearing aid is of help.
I see.
If there is no hearing, then a hearing aid
it doesn't
cannot
help at all.
Just in the same way that if you're completely blind, spectacles don't help. It doesn't matter how thick they are.
That's
Good point. Yeah.